Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson. I'm the host of this podcast that's mine. Going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the ground. Friggin' what up, dude? Fired up for another dank episode of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson. Got Aaron on the sticks, dude. What up, Aaron?
What up?
Chilling, dude. Fired up right now, dude. Just thinking about, dude, I just want to party, dude. You know what I mean? I just want to party. Do you ever just get that feeling where you're like, you know, maybe you put your beautiful daughter down to sleep, dude. You know, you get her in bed like, 7 p.m. I don't know if that's late or good, but a good time. And then you're like, dude, I just want to rage right now. You ever get that, dude?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, my wife does not.
Yeah. That's what happened, dude. Party alone, dude. Maybe that's the new quarantine thing. You just party, dude. You put some headphones in, put on some ball with the ball, to bang, boogie set, with the boogie set, up, chuck the boogie, and just freaking, do like a silent disco by yourself. Not a bad move. Partying, dude. Do you remember the best party you've ever been to? Maybe it was spontaneous.
I couldn't pull it off the top of my head. That's for sure.
I got two in mind. One of them, I went to visit freaking JT's brother Chris at Notre Dame one time, and I had this is before I was dating my GF. I had a great freak dancing experience in a basement in South Bend, where a nice young lady just really went to town, freak dance style, on me. I kind of, look, I'm a pretty standard, basic khaki wearing, tight butthole white dude, and I don't have the best hips on the D floor. I can throw around some weights and some dumbbell, and I'm working on it. I got good lateral quickness. I played volleyball, but as far as rhythm and flow goes, I'm stilted. And I'll tell you, it was a great freak dancing experience. But then the best party I've ever been to has to be in Santa Barbara, dude. I think UCSB, dude, Del Playa. I think it's honestly heaven on earth for partying. It's this neighborhood of just straight up, dude. There's houses up on the cliffs, dude. You're looking at the ocean. People are packed in there, dude. You're listening to freaking, old school great technique. You're listening to Sandstorm. You got pro nails going, dude. You're having a great time, dude. You're sipping on freaking BL Smooths, dude. Tossing back tall boys, hitting the K, dude. Just having great talks, dude. You're breathing that nice ocean air, dude. It's just beautiful, dude. It's a perfect time. Everyone's got good vibes, except for there is, and I think it only exists, the only time I've heard, and I went to UC San Diego, and there's plenty of freaking kids that went to that school from NorCal, but it seems like for some reason in Santa Barbara, there exists this NorCal SoCal beef where, like, if you say hella, dudes will like perk up, like, what, dude? From the Bay Area, dude? What's wrong with you, dude? Take your hyphy, dude, and just freaking throw your car in reverse up north, dude. And the SoCal for life. And I don't know if it's rooted in Dodgers Giants, but have you ever heard of this NorCal SoCal beef, Aaron?
Yeah, I feel like NorCal has a bigger beef with SoCal than in reverse.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, even me, look at that. Just subscribe to it there. And I'm a chill guy. I don't really care about it. But yeah, I think it's like, is it jealousy on behalf of NorCal dudes? I mean, I don't want to. Maybe I should have got a dude from NorCal on here and talk about this. It's wild, dude. And honestly, it informed my historical share today. I wanted to do the history of California, dude, and who are the Native Californians and what went on here, and has this beef existed long before, I went up to this freaking dank party at UCSB, dude. Did it exist, or is it something that was just manufactured recently, in our generation? So I contacted an expert, actually, and I want it to be fair. Jacob Lapinsky, dude, he does research for the pod now. The dude's a freaking beast, legend, dude, genius. And he went to San Jose State University. That's up north, dude. Okay? Actually, I think he's still there. I think he's going to graduate in May of 2021, dude. Congrats, dude, in advance, bro. So Jacob, dude, he has an unbiased approach. He tries to limit it as best we can as a historian, but he's got NorCal love, dude. And of course I got SoCal love, dude, being from San Juan, dude, and my dog's chatting JT, San Clemente. So just kind of coming at from that angle. So, but let's go ahead and rewind, dude. Let's go way back, dude. Okay? We're going to go back old school California, dude.
I also want to say I'm from San Diego.
Oh yeah, you're San Diego. You're SoCal. You're SoCal.
And I am SoCal to the bone.
Love that, dude.
And I am I was 3 miles from the U.S.-Mexican border.
Love that.
My 25 years of my life, so.
Deep SoCal roots, dude.
Deep SoCal.
I mean, but you're not a Padres fan, funny enough.
No, you can't do that to yourself.
So true.
Now it's great. Sure.
How far were you from Imperial Beach? Or Imperial?
I was directly east of it. I was 3 miles directly east.
They got good meth out there.
That and runoff from the Tijuana River.
Right.
It always shuts down the beach,
Maybe you put a little bit of that in them. Maybe you just take that directly. It's going to do something to your body. It's going to tilt you somehow, one way or another. Dude,
yeah, I got stung by a jellyfish there.
Ooh, sea jelly, dude.
Never been right.
No fun. Did anyone pee on you?
No. Lifeguard sprayed probably vinegar or something on me.
Is the pee thing a myth, or is it just like the temperature? It's like a trick for your brain.
It's not a temperature thing. It's an acid versus base thing.
pH balance.
Yeah.
Respect that, dude. So maybe someone had like some, because that's what the poison's acidic, so then you want a good base for it, or is it vice versa? Is the poison the base?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really know exactly.
But like, dude, you gotta start taking some milk to the beach with you. Freaking A, dude. All right, so Aaron's freaking SoCal guy. I'm a SoCal guy. But look, we're going to be unbiased. I'm just going to go back and look at what's going on here in California. Let's learn a little bit about the state, dude, and the people that populated it, dude, and dankness. But we got to start a while back, dude. We're going to go back to freaking 15,000 years ago, dude. It's a long time. 12 to 15,000 years ago. That's freaking BC. That's like 10,000 to 13,000 BC, dude, right? Because we're at 21 now. So you got to do that little freaking math right there, dude. And dude, this is way, way before, Columbus, 1492, sailed the ocean blue. Cortez didn't even freaking, the conquistadors landing in the Yucatan around, 1500s, the age of exploration. So we're way before that, dude. We're freaking, dude, I mean, there's straight up woolly mammoths cruising around, not in California, but that's when we're talking right now, dude. Ancient peoples, dude. Okay, dude? Doing stuff, dude. Having orgies, dude. I just imagine ancient people always having orgies, dude. Because it's natural. It's legit. What were their customs? I don't know. But I just like to imagine that. And that's not true necessarily of any native Californians, although I'm sure some orgies did go down. So, dude, we're cruising around, dude, 10,000, 13,000 BCE, dude. Okay, that's when we're cruising around California, dude. And it was untouched for centuries, dude, okay? And there's lots of theories about the first people living in CA, and we're going to get into two prominent ones, dude. And you got to imagine, dude, the land is so lush, dude. California was basically like what the West could come to as like the best utopia, dude. And the Sierra Nevadas, dude, right now there's only 5% of the trees that would have been there in 10,000 BC, dude. Imagine, like, you cruise up to those mountains, you go on a hike, dude. You look around, you see those giant, you see like what's that tree called? The General or the Admiral? Something like that fat sycamore, that fat redwood up there that like a Volkswagen can drive under. Dude, you got tons of those trees, dude. Dropping fat acorns, dude. And I say acorns because that was prominent in the diet of many, many of the native California tribes, dude. And there's multiple tribes, dude. Because the land was so lush, things were spread out. And I've got a theory that this NorCal SoCal beef, it wasn't like there was two, big empires like a Mayans of Southern California and like a friggin' Incas of the Northern California, and those are two ancient tribes. Those were BC tribes and BC cultures, I should say. And dude, California was set into pockets, and a lot of it has to do with how lush and frickin' just straight up plush the environment was, dude. You could just set up, you could cruise with your freaking locals, dude. You could cruise with the people that you love, your family, dude. Freaking, hot little, excuse me for saying this, bunny, dude. Settle down, create some little kids, dude. Just enjoy yourself, dude. And you would just set up in your environment. And California had such rich resources as it does today. It even still is. Even though, always, you watch a Dank nature doc and at the end they're like, well, everything's dying. And it always bums you out at the end. And I don't want to do that right now, but it is true. We got to take care of the environment more and more. But California's environment is still to this day one of the most diverse, although New Mexico has the most diverse climate in the United States. You wouldn't think that. You'd think it's all desert, but no, dude, it's New Mexico, the land of enchantment, dude. Might as well think I got stock in that friggin' state right now, the way I'm selling it to you. But we're focused on California right now, dude. So Basically, it's like you just got to think of like sort of what you would imagine a utopia being, or like a Garden of Eden. Honestly, dude, that's kind of what California was, dude. Fat acorns, dude. Grizzly bears were just cruising around. Those were the apex predators, you know, behind these ancient peoples, of course, who had their tools and equipment and stuff like that, and the freaking brain and their communal abilities. So you got to imagine, dude, imagine if Megafauna, dude, like grizzlies were able to, you know, coordinate and think and cooperate like we were and invest in religion and stuff, they would have dominated us. But not, it's man's ability to buy into these, as are my freaking boy Yuval Noah Harari says, these imagined realities. That's what sets us apart, dude. So but grizzlies don't have those, dude. They're just cruising on salmon, dude, and protecting their young. So, dude, we're freaking way back, dude. We're imagining, dude, the self-sustaining, co-harmonious freaking lifestyle with nature well before freaking, you know, the Spanish arrived and decimated and brutalized the freaking natives. So, and you know, that's another story, but that we know it all too well. I mean, basically, dude, like California, and people, when they think of California, Aaron, when they're not from here, and you're a native Californian.
I am not.
Wait, what? You moved to San Diego?
Yeah, my grandparents retired out there, so my family's from Chicago.
Interesting. And you hate the Cubs. There's a competition in you, Aaron.
Not really.
I mean, you like the...
I basically moved from one shitty baseball city, not shitty city, but like the team sucked.
Yes, forever. So why would you be...
Yeah, I left in 87. So, I mean, they had Ryan Sandberg. That was awesome. And the Hawk, Andre Dawson. But, yeah, I left in 87 and was in San Diego for the rest of the time.
Legit. And then, you know, Cards were probably hitting it. They were probably pretty good then.
Cards won the World Series the year I was born. They lost in 85 on a blown call at first base. And lost again in 87.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And then the Dodgers got it in freaking... So what, they lost to who? The A's?
Who?
The Cardinals?
No, the Twins.
Twins, okay.
And the Brewers in 85.
Freaking gnarly, dude.
Bad call.
So what I was trying to say is, when people think...
Sorry to weed off.
No, I love that. I love talking b-ball, dude. I love talking b-ball. And I love learning about... Look, dude, part of what we're going to learn right now, we're learning about you, and that's... And the fact that you're open to sharing, I freaking love that. That's dank. And we're learning about the people of California right now. You're one of those people now, dude.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, dude.
It's a show about facts, and I cannot let it stand that I am a native. I am not.
That's right. You're keeping it real, dude. And we keep it freaking real, dude.
Yeah.
This is podcasting. The most brave and honest medium there is. Okay?
True.
It's legit. And I think I wouldn't be going out on a limb if I said, when someone hears California, they probably in their minds think of palm trees, beaches, SoCal, right? That's usually where people's mind... No one probably knows the capital of California, Sacramento. You know what I mean? And that's because like the gold rush and John Marshall, who actually found gold in 1849, like January or something, when we're recording this podcast of like 1848. It's Sutter's Mill. But dude, you're thinking beaches, but dude, the state is vast. It is different. It has quite different climates. I mean, it's freaking huge, dude. NorCal is very different climate-wise than SoCal. The waves at Maverick, super heavy, dude. You come to SoCal, you got nice little peelers down at Trestle, dude. And the bros are different, dude. You got a 949 bro in Huntington, you know, versus a 909 bro in Riverside, which is all SoCal, but it's just inland. There's nuanced pockets, dude. These are dudes of different modern bro tribes. And that's how it was 10,000 years ago, different tribes. Nowadays, you know, you got MMA dudes in Huntington, they got great ground game. When you go to Riverside, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think dudes right there, once you get them on the mat, they're pretty much pinned. You know, but they're going to keep you up top and they're going to get body shots and they go throw great leg kicks. That's sort of a Riverside 909 game. One of them's got French bulldogs, the other one's got, you know, English bulldogs. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Some dudes like calf tattoos, the other dudes like freaking, you know, forearm tats. It's different. Okay?
Yeah, it's like the location of your Pennywise tattoo.
Exactly.
Determines where you're from.
Where does it go? Does it go on your southern region of your body, the northern? You know, does it go on your left or right calf? It's interesting. All I'm saying is we've got to open our minds and think about why things develop this way. And I think it has roots and it's rooted in the climate of California, in the natural habitat of it, in the freaking dank, plush, utopian ecosystems. Okay, and there's just something so damn dank about California, dude, you know? And also, if you hear someone say Cali, they're probably not from Cali.
Yeah, Cali really bothers me. I don't like it.
No one says Cali, dude. And I mean, dude, there was one guy, I went to summer camp in Yosemite Sierra Summer Camp, dude, which was a surprise Christian summer camp that my parents didn't tell me about. I was having a dank time hanging on a cargo net, banana boating, having fun. And then after that, the counselor's like, Legolas was his name. He's like, hey, let's all talk about God. And I was like, well, what? Should we just talk about ice cream tacos? Because those were dank. No, dude, let's pray, dude. You guys want to have Jesus in your life? And I'm not hating on that. I was just saying I would have liked a heads up from my parents to know what I'm getting into. So, you know, there's no free lunch. But freaking, and also Yosemite, beautiful plush region. I'm talking about, those are the trees I'm talking about, those Sierra Nevada trees. Think about that, dude. There's only 5% of it left. Imagine, dude, how many more trees, dude, you'd be freaking, I would imagine it would be like, you'd be like looking at that, it'd be like being on shrooms without even having to do shrooms. It'd be so freaking stoke inducing. You'd be so in touch with it, dude. So I'm talking about California, and it's so dank and so lush. And then you got the South, you got the Mojave Desert down there. You're going to Arizona, even New Mexico. You would think all these tribes a long time ago would try to make their way over to California, but it was locked. Like I just said, it was locked by the Sierra Nevadas. Then on the West Coast, you got the Pacific Ocean. That's really difficult to cross. Then you've got the deserts down south. So this California is kind of naturally locked off. So how do you get there? You know, and there's two theories, right? Two theories from frickin', and this is where my frickin' dog Jacob comes in, dude. Okay, he cites an author here, Carrie McWilliams, dude. Makes me feel dank just being able to say that, dude. And don't give me Jacob, dude. I wanted to just take credit and be like, dude, I read this fat, frickin' dank, thick book, Carrie McWilliams, dude, and just drop a frickin' quote, dude. But McWilliams says California is the great exception, right, dude? Jacob coming in hot with that, dude. There's two theories. The initial theory, dude, is that migratory hunters traveled from northern Asia using the frozen Bering Strait, dude, right? That's like in the Ice Age, way up north by the Arctic, it froze over, and man could cross over from, you know, Europe. They came from, you know, mitochondrial Eve in Africa. This is hundreds of thousands of years. Everyone freaking has, you know, matched DNA to like one freaking, you know, Homo africanus or whatever was mitochondrial Eve was, I forget. And we're all freaking descendants of that, then spread to Europe and blah, blah, blah. And everyone genetically diversifies and becomes whatever. And, you know, that's, you know, we can get into a whole other thing based on that. But basically, people cruise across this Bering Strait thousands of years later and slowly make their way down freaking, you know, through Alaska to Northern California and then to way south to Southern California and settle it over thousands of years, you know, planting us at 10,000 BC, which is what we're working in right now. Now, a new theory comes across, and it's the currently accepted theory, is that migratory hunters came from Asia by sea using rafts that floated along the coastline. Looking at the evidence and consulting with Dr. Gendzel, it is apparent that after the last ice age, the migratory hunters were forced to adapt, seeking small game and naturally occurring plants to sustain their diets, dude. So with the ice age, larger animals, the megafauna would have died out, and so the need to survive is leading them out and to California to survive. So basically, and then going even further, you could say these old school Californians were known as Native Californians as opposed to Native Americans, the other tribes, because they were so different. California, they had their own customs and everything, their religion and everything, and you know it is all rooted in, you know, animalism and spiritual with nature. They do share that aspect, but they have their own set of beliefs that are different. So Native Californians are a great exception, and they didn't because like I mentioned earlier, you know, Native Americans does include you're including all of the Americas, not just North America, like populations of the Inca and the Mayas, later the Aztecs, but you know we're talking ancient here, and this is in the Mayans and even the Anasazi of the American Southwest, which is like, you know, 3000 BC, like that's a big civilization. And they were in Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. They didn't make it out to California. They didn't cross the hottest place on earth, the Mojave Desert. to get there to this freaking promised land, dude, that's out there. So
Yeah, they don't call it Death Valley for nothing.
exactly right. I mean, even though it's got fat, dank off-roading, dude, you better have good AC in your lifted Raptor, and you better be crushing dank tall boys if you're riding passenger seat, and your driver better be crushing fat rock stars or monsters, dude. All tall boys cans, of course. So I like to imagine the ancients were doing some sort of off-roading as well, you know. The wheel was invented in Mesopotamia, I think around, 10,000 BC this time. So I don't know if there's archaeological evidence of a wheel being out here, but I like to imagine they were doing some sort of off-roading or maybe natural parkouring, kicking off of a redwood, doing a fat twist, something dank like that.
Snowboarding the sand dunes, maybe?
Some sort of snowboarding, yes. That would have been tight down in the desert, doing some sort of, and I mean, what about one of the tribes? I mean, there was about a population of 300,000 Native Californians, which is a lot of people, but they were dispersed into 135 different tribes. These are estimated numbers, but that's what they say, rather than maybe 30 bigger civilizations. But it's just because each region had such fat, dank natural resources, they were like, dude, we don't even need to cruise. We're just going to chill here. And there was intermittent warfare and trading and stuff, but trading was usually done quickly. Obsidian, salt, those were the fat things. Acorns, dude. If you go up in the Bay Area, you can see these little holes where the ancient Californians would frickin', grind down the acorns and I like to imagine dank breakfast burritos, maybe using, squirrel meats or salmon, dude, maybe bedding that shit in some acorn stuff. Maybe having superfoods, dude, a very diverse diet. In fact, the diet of the Native Californians was very diverse, and it made them for stronger, they're actually very, very strong people, which is legit. Like literally the nutrients they got, they were jacked and rather larger. The skeletal remains they found were larger than that of the neighboring Anasazi of a similar time period, which is interesting. Ancient people were generally smaller. Nowadays, we have access to all these proteins and GMOs and all that type of shit. Like, we're bigger than, people talk about Neanderthals and the strength, but like right now, we're the biggest that we've been. We have the access to the most nutrients, and these Native Californians had access to freaking dank nutrients, dude.
Probably a great flow too.
Oh, you got to imagine dank locks, dude, just blowing in the wind, very picturesque, nice sun-kissed, wind-burnt look, beautiful skin tonation. I mean, something that would just really, and honestly, dude, culturally, ladies were topless, dudes would honestly be naked, and they would wear, if it got cold, otter skin, coats and robes, which just makes me think, that'd be very great. Honestly, just once again, going back into orgies, I think, there was good body art, good ink. I like to imagine, tribes from the Huntington Beach area would probably prominently featured, calf ink, something like that. And, maybe other tribes up north, featured, the good, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bicep pattern, and pulled it off with great authenticity, which would be dank. And now, would they have the people's elbow or some wrestling move? I don't know. But I do imagine that there was dank ink, and I do imagine that would set you apart in some sort of orgy. It'd be like, oh, dude, I don't know what the dude's names were, but maybe there was a guy named Kevin who had a dank calf tattoo, and it's like maybe one of your bros was like, dude, Kevin's got a fat hog. He could take care of your girlfriend for you, in this orgy. I'm going to go crush some grapes. For me, I'd have a small dink, and I'd be like, look, I'm basically here for the food and the good times you guys enjoy. I'm sort of more of a watcher than a doer. And, I think this is all, and in fact, this is, the theory is not outlandish, because these Native California tribes were all about everyone eating and taking apart, and from the top down. Even the chief, his job was to make sure people were happy. There was a shaman, his job was to do, ceremonies and, pray for, good, proper rains and environmental things. And there would be weddings and stuff. He would proceed over those. But there wasn't like a concept of property or anything. And this is very different from how European, you think of and this is obviously jumping in time, but like, more feudal societies, or I'd be interested to see how the European tribes of like 10,000 years ago, were operating, and obviously they were territorial, but I would imagine it was more of a top-down thing. But in California, I mean, even when Columbus arrived, like, these tribes were still thriving in the 1500s and living in this way. So I think there is a point to be made of how Europe evolved and everything, and they had cities at that time, and it was very much not about everyone being taken care of. It was about getting the most for yourself. So interesting how selfishness evolved over there in Europe. And, you know, there's lots of factors into that. But in California, dude, the Native Californians, they were just all about freaking chillness, dude, rather than selfishness. I like that, dude. You know, fires me up. And maybe in Europe, it's because it was limited resources. And in California, there was a lot of plush resources. And so chillness sort of was innate, you could say. So the most densely populated area of ancient California was actually the Southern California coast of Santa Barbara, sort of the Ventura County region. And this was huge for me because that's where the SoCal and NorCal beef exists most. I've never heard it exist. I went to San Diego. I'm Dodgers fans, Giants fans down there. We'd go to Padres games, you know, watch them, you know, beat up on the Padres equally. And maybe that bonded us, but it was like, we never had beef. But I go to Santa Barbara, I'm having these dank parties, everything's good vibes. And so maybe there's just something in the air down there because that's the densely populated region, creates a little more scarcity. And, you know, even in the island, the parties on Del Playa are so dank, you know, maybe it's like people get bumming over kegs. And then when the kegs get about to get tapped, then someone might ask the question, yo, where are you from? Oh, you from SoCal? And the dude tapping the keg, pumping he's from SoCal. Okay, there you go. But if the dude answers wrong, he's wearing some Birkenstocks with socks on. And, you know, he's talking about, you know, a band called Sherwood, no one's ever even heard of. Or, you know, he's, you know, holding it over everyone's head that he's got Arcade Fire on his iPod. It's like, all right, you're not getting the brew, you know? And maybe it goes back to similar beef like that, but with acorns for the ancient Californians, you know? I don't know. It's categorized into 6 cultural areas: ancient California, Northwest, Northeast, Central, Great Basin, Southern, and Colorado River. So, I mean, really, there should be 6 different beefs if there was even beef. So, but it's just huge for me knowing that Santa Barbara was the most densely populated region, and that even to this day, there's some beef that exists, and that would be the region of the most tension. You know, maybe people are running low on obsidian or salt, dude, and then they're getting salty with one another. So it's interesting. But California had the greatest cultural diversity, and I think that transcends as well to today. We're known for being a culturally diverse state and being more on the progressive side of things. Obviously, there's work that still needs to be done, no question about that. But dating back to just looking at the lifestyle and how things became sort of locked into regions of plushness, I like to call it, different cultures developed. So it's kind of nice. And there was tons of different languages. You know, the explorers write of, you know, native tribes. Typically, you wouldn't travel back then in 10,000 years ago, 20 or 30 miles from your home in your lifetime. So there was no language and everything, and different cultural customs and beliefs wouldn't necessarily transcend regions or carry across regions. So it's pretty dank, dude. Trade and stuff obviously would things could disseminate that way, but trades were generally quick and you know, people would cruise down, trade acorns for salt, and, you know, whatever, dude. And, you know, freaking dank. Salt was very important to the people because obsidian for hunting and tools, and then salt for preserving meats for their dank freaking diets, dude. And so it's just freaking dank, dude. And then a little bit more about the ancient Californians, dude. They lived in, you know, a lot of different tribes lived in different things, but wickiups were very common, dude. Just brush roofs, dude, made of sticks and logs, dude. I just love the name wickiups. Sounds like something that, you know, would you know, a conservative mom would text you about and say, look at this, was just unfolded on one of those, you know, false text chains. But nope, it's an ancient lodging, dude. That's dank. Dude, they had even sweat lodges, bro. Freaking bunch of freaking old school Californians just sweating it out and then going for a dive right after that, dude. Just taking care of their health, dude. Making sure their stokes staying boosted, dude. It makes me think of Chad, dude. I think he's an ancient Californian at heart for sure, dude. I mentioned this earlier, dude. Clothing, dude. There was, you know, tattoos were common, dude. Ladies were topless, dude. And dudes were dropping full dong. Just love that equality right there, dude. You know, show me mine, show you yours mentality, legit. Body art, very popular, dude. I mentioned the chiefs and shamans, dude. And I honestly, dude, I don't want to brag here, but I think I could have been an ancient chief. You know, I'm all about good vibes and chilling, dude. When I hang out with bros, they want to keep that going. And I think the fact that the chiefs weren't Like it wasn't like a Genghis Khan thing where it was like the tribe was all about let's go expand and like you have to keep feeding the machine of your society, and like they would say like that those Mongolian tribes would suffer, like if he just stood still things would disrupt, so you had to like literally go and take over. There was always another mission or goal. It's very different with Native Californian tribes. Their leaders would just be like, dude, we can chill. Is everyone getting along right now? All right. Does anyone need a yerba buena? In fact, that was the San Francisco region was called yerba buena. And you could imagine, dude, a shaman, just freaking shaman, dude. Maybe that's how you say it, dude. I always say stuff wrong. And maybe it's different pronounced in, NorCal or SoCal, that's just my SoCal accent coming in right there, dude. And the San Francisco region was actually known as yerba buena before the mission period. That's when
good herb.
Exactly, the good herb. 100% right. Before Junipero Serra spread his 21 missions along the California coast, and people go, oh, he was spreading the good word and converting and saving souls, but he was also like, oh, he was making these native people build churches for him against their will, dude. He even built one in my hometown, San Juan Capistrano, dude. Yep. The jewel of the missions. It's a beautiful one, but it's got a dark past. Junipero Serra was also a self-flagellist. Did you know
that? No, they don't really cover that on the tour.
Yeah, exactly. You go down there, the docent doesn't mention that, dude.
The docent's not whipping the shit out of himself.
I want to go down there and give X-rated mission tours, dude. Carve myself out a historical niche there. But dude, you just like to imagine, dude. And then, dude, oysters, dude, they would do a lot. They were eating a lot of shellfish, going back to their diverse diet. Dude, you just got to imagine, dude, the ancient Californians, dude, fat wedding, toking up yerba buena, dude, getting a nice sweat lodge in, dude, partying with your bros, eating dank acorn breakfast burritos, then going out and having a nice aphrodisiac of some shells. And these were apparent because, there's archaeological evidence of like fat mounds of shells stacked up where regions where, wiki-ups were found and stuff. And you just got to imagine, dude, you have some good yerba buena, a nice oyster, that's an aphrodisiac. I mean, how are you not having an orgy after that? How is every wedding not an orgy? I like to imagine the Native Californians were having orgies, okay? Wearing otter skin fur, derobing, showing ink off. These people they had diverse diets, they were in good shape, they were jacked. I would put money down right now and say a Native Californian orgy, 10,000 BC, beats any Roman or Greek orgy. I would like to watch. If I had a time machine, people go back, oh, dude, I'd like to be a fly on the wall. Here, I'd like to be a fly in the air at a Native California frickin' yerba buena dank orgy. I'm sure there's all sorts of avant-garde moves, sexual moves that I would like to learn and put into my arsenal. Maybe that's where the beef comes down from. Maybe it's how you bone. Maybe that's the true NorCal SoCal beef. Maybe that's the essence of it. I don't know. I really don't think it should be anything else. Both regions have their own beauty. Both regions have their distinct cultural backings, as we've seen from 10,000 years ago. We know that there's different tribes. It's not like there's two big regions. I don't know why we've made it into two big things. I think maybe it just comes down to how people bone differently and stylistically, and I think we should share that knowledge rather than keep it to ourselves. Just saying. But it goes without say, Native Californians had a great respect for nature, and it was sort of this distinct tribal mentality in the chiefs of just being like, yo, let's keep the vibes good in our tribes. And I think that ancient stoke is something that has, definitely disseminated into these days, that good California stoke, dude. And I think but it also was a double-edged sword because it set them up like, yes, the tribes did fight occasionally over territory and resources during, maybe drought years or whatever, but like, by and large, they were more insular. And so when, the Spanish came along, they weren't set up or equipped or like, that wasn't even their mindset of like to take and garner and hoard resources. They were just like, dude, that we would let the land replenish and be grateful for it. And, the Spanish were like, nah, dude, not in Europe. Got to hold on to that stuff, dude. And so, and also,
I don't know why when you said that, when you said the Spanish came along, I was like, you must whip it.
You whip it good with like the for the guy from the B-52s, the Frank whatever. Is that what you're talking about?
Fred Schneider?
Yeah, Fred Schneider, that guy.
No, DEVO.
DEVO. Oh yeah, DEVO. I saw DEVO live. Went to a Tony Hawk Boom Boom Huck Jam at the Arrowhead Pond, now the Hana Center, where you just watch dudes do freaking fat tricks, BMX, rollerblading, skating, dirt bikes, and DEVO played. And I was like, this is a dank band, dude.
Wow.
You must whip it good. Dude, great freaking band. If they were Native Californian, that'd be beautiful coinkydink right there, but I don't know where they're from.
I'd assume East Coast.
But dude, I mean, that's just a little bit about them, bro. I mean, basically you just got to say the great takeaway here is the tribes of California evolved on their own. Different customs.
DEVO is from Akron, Ohio. Like LeBron James.
Love that, dude. The king. Freaking beastly. Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, dude, I mean, that's basically, I don't know why the beef exists. Shouldn't, you know? There's not two big distinct cultures. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's our European ancestry mixed with California, and we're bringing a little bit of that to it. I don't know. I just hope the beef gets squashed, you know?
Part of it's Hollywood versus tech.
That's true. They got that, yeah. Silicon.
They basically work together.
Yeah, it's very true. All I'm saying is California should just team up and just, you know, have beef with bros from Colorado. Kidding, I actually like dude from Colorado, but I went to summer camp with a dude from Colorado, and we were all mean to him. He was a super nice guy, Ryan, dude, and he's like, we wrote each other letters afterwards. It was kind of a fun thing to do. And he's like, dude, and he saw the kids from California wearing board shorts, and he had like regular netting trunks. And we were like, what are those, dude? When we go banana boating, he's like, well, these are the trunks that I wear. We're like, no, dude, you got to get board shorts. And he wrote us and asked us to mail him some because he like didn't know where to buy any out there. This was before like Amazon. And then we were like, nah, dude, you don't even surf or bodyboard, dude. You can't wear board shorts. We're sorry. We actually thought about it. So sorry, dude. He was like, what? Dude, I just want to wear board shorts. Nah, dude, you can't. It's not authentic. Meanwhile, I suck at surfing, dude. But I'd been once, so I was like, I can wear them now. Cool, dude.
I'm more of a trunks guy. I can't really do board shorts. I need some elastic.
Dude, here's the thing, bro. They have like comfortable board shorts now. Chad and JT hooked me up with these ones from Hurley, dude. The waist lining is like it's nice on your skin. It doesn't rub or rash because it's made for surfing. There's a little elastane in there now. It's nice.
Oh, okay.
It's nice.
Right. Last time I tried, it wasn't.
Yeah, the old board shorts, the ones I'm talking about from when I was at summer camp as a kid, very uncomfortable. A lot of Velcro. And yeah, you didn't have the netting, so your tiny dink would scratch up against the Velcro on the tip. I remember just like, it's bad, dude. You would have thought that I was sexually active at that time. You would have thought I had a native Californian orgy, but nah, dude.
Nah, you got to cut that netting out.
Drilling myself.
You got to cut that netting out. I've learned that over the years.
Netting goes. All right, dude, let's take a few cues, then we'll call it.
Oh, one thing before we move on. Where do you stand on Sublime?
Love them. I believe Sublime is everyone's favorite band at one point in their life, especially if you grew up in California. I mean, you kind of like move on from it, but that California soul, Aaron, I love it. You're gonna say you don't love it? I already know it. I could tell by the but I mean, dude, when you hear frickin' Bad Fish, or you hear that little riff, ding 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 ding, April 26, 1992. Dude, that song's so good. And then Lovin's What I Got, dude. Come on, dude, that riff. Every dude that picks up a guitar in California, I mean, I feel like it's innate. You just kind of naturally start going. You just naturally start playing that.
Unfortunately.
Loving. You hate them.
I do. They're just overplayed. I mean, I heard them my entire adult life, childhood too. It's just like, too much. Yeah. Who knows what they would have done and evolved into. I mean, clearly Brad was a talented dude.
He was troubled, yeah.
And obviously troubled. And he died early. But yeah, I can't hear it anymore.
No, it does. It definitely is overplayed at this point, but it's like it's almost like, I would say for Californians, the first time you hear Sublime is like equivalent to like everyone else's first time they hear the Beatles, but also from California, you hear the Beatles for the first time too, and it's amazing. But it's just like, you hear it and you're like, this is who I am. You know what I mean? And I'm from Orange County. I'm like, I got no like my authenticity is like the Cheesecake Factory. Like, this is where we go eat. You know, I went and visited my GF dude farm. She's from a beautiful area. Like we were touring the town. She's like, I remember when that stoplight or that traffic signal got put in there. Went out to her grandma's farm. It's freaking amazing. So dank. Some real like, you know, culture there. And, you know, and then she comes out and visits me in OC and I'm like, there is some beauty to it too. I'm like, this is where I get my breakfast burrito. It's dank, but this is also the cheesecake. This is the mall that I go to. This is our Audi dealership. It's very nice. Amazing, dude. All right, dude. Few cues. Freaking what up, Strider? I just listened to an episode where you and Aaron, what up, Aaron, talked about your thoughts of Reddit, and I felt I didn't have a solid pro throwdown for it. It's quite a dank epicenter for online trolling, which can have its own pros and cons. But I dig Reddit because you just follow whatever stokes you out. Anyways, I thought maybe history of trolling could be interesting. Who was the first troll? Could do a deep dive. Interesting question. I mean, dude, we're recording this today, and maybe I'll release this episode next week, even though I have a few in the hopper, but like, so it's a little more relevant. But I mean, what's going on with Wall Street right now and Reddit is like exactly what you're talking about. I mean, that's going to be the story of the year. And then today when we're recording, it's the 28th of January. Like, dude, the government just cracked down on the little man. It's kind of like the free market's always been a myth. It's just who are the rules set up to help in that market. And once again, it's proven set up to help the big dogs.
I haven't really been able to figure out what is happening with GameStop and all this.
Basically, and then look, I'm a noob to this, I don't understand, but like, basically it's like using Reddit and the power of like social media and stuff. Like it takes $250K to get a hedge fund going, and then there's dudes who have like multi-million-dollar, $25 million, $50 million, huge billion-dollar hedge funds that can really sway a market. They can get momentum and create trends. So then on Reddit, the little man decided we're going to create a trend of our own, and we're going to save GameStop, which is going out of business. Like that's the example, but they did it with other businesses as well. And then it gets more complicated because they're using like fraction stocks, which is like you don't own one stock. You can own like, say you have $100 for a share, you can buy $25 of it, but split it all up. Yeah. So it makes things more complicated, but it's like, basically it's like, and that just basically makes things less predictable for people, which is another interesting factor. But it was like, the little dude was just saying like, hey, we can push back a little bit and create trends and momentum, which is what hedge funds do anyway. They create momentum, and people try to say because it was existing on social media and Reddit that it should be like illegal or not okay, but it's not like it's insider. Yeah, you know, no. Like I mean, if Elon Musk talks about Tesla like that, the SEC might have to do something with that. That might be, you know, because he has influence, right? He's got a huge company. Reddit was a bunch of little men were trying to get together and have influence on Wall Street, and maybe to a degree do some trolling. But so it's interesting, but that's as far as my understanding goes. But, you know, cynically and sadly, seems like the big dog always wins. And that's who the government backed, the companies, right? And I mean, I guess like they could target like GameStop's one of them that was going out of business. But like this small hedge fund, like call it Reddit hedge fund or whatever, could target businesses that hedge funds invest in, try to sell or deplete those companies and kind of mess with them a little bit in that way. That's my limited understanding. Someone's obviously probably way more nuanced than that, but dude, this is from frickin' Tom Blaz wrote that in, and I think, dude, this would be a very prominent chapter and possibly the crux of a trolling deep dive. And as far as Reddit is concerned, yeah, man, front page of the internet, holding some sway on Wall Street. Interesting. Made them shake in their little space boots for a second there. All right, dude. Let's see. These, okay, this is a long one. Maybe just get to his question here. Sorry, my dog. This is from a big dude named T. He says, these are just some examples of some crazy coincidences that life can throw at you, which leads me to my question. Firstly, have you ever had some crazy coincidental events happen to you? And if so, what went down? And secondly, with all these coincidences floating around, do you believe that life is indeed a series of totally unconnected events, or do you believe that there might be some kind of lattice or a lattice of coincidence that lays over the top of everything, which runs throughout history? I use that terminology because I heard a monologue in a Dank movie called Repo Man, which basically sums up what I'm thinking about. I know these are some wacky coincidences involving the assassination of JFK and Lincoln, which could be an interesting topic for the pod. I love the pod since it dropped. Thanks for the knowledge and thanks for reading my long rambling question. My dog think I didn't read it all on here, but I did read it in person, so to myself. I mean, dude, this sounds like a question you could freaking pack a fat bong of some yerba buena and just enjoy thinking about. I mean, I don't know, dude. I think there's always like hindsight's 20/20. You look back and you go, these are coincidental events, but it's like, even like the way we'll probably look back at how this pandemic turned out, and we'll be like, oh, well, the writing was on the wall. We just didn't know it. Like, people say like someone who has the best understanding of the period is someone who's living in it, but also will at least understand the long-term effects of it. Like, you need to zoom out and have that view of it. Like, who would understand Native California better than a person living in 10,000 BC? But also, would they be able to understand it in a context of like how that's going to affect when conquistadors arrive and all that? No, of course not. And are we going to do that when frickin' aliens come in 2021? I'm calling it, dude. I'm saying it now, dude. I'm saying it now. We're not going to know. But we're going to be like, dude, the writing was there. That thing in Hawaii. Look out, dude. I'm getting conspiratorial, dude. But yeah, I don't know if it's coincidence as much as like, you know, just tendencies and natural events plus man-made events coming together and creating sort of a Goldilocks condition for whatever pans out to pan out. And
I mean, you can look at any event and go, well, this thing was happening here and this thing, and then they collided. You know, you can make statements about any past event to connect it to something else, almost like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. But like,
totally,
the idea that, you know, Lincoln's press secretary or whatever was Kennedy and Kennedy's was Lincoln. It's like, those are just common names. Like, it's really not that crazy.
Exactly.
What was McKinley's? He was also assassinated. What was his?
Totally.
They're not the only presidents who've been assassinated, unfortunately.
I know.
Did they have other, you know, connections? Probably not. But there's the two that they want to connect.
I know, and that's an interesting thing. That's like confirmation bias, and that's part of what is stirring so many of these like crazy internet theories about the transition of the presidency. And it's like, you can go back and you can write, like, it's just basically like writing an essay, but really bad and dumb. But it's like, I can create a thesis statement and then find concrete details, which aren't even that concrete once they're really looked at, but I can write something sort of persuasive. You know what I mean? And then the facts, it's like how anything is. We looked at this article for the Going Deep pod, but it's like how information is disseminated through, like, if someone wants to tell a story, they're going to, or like how a red shirt got made, and like all the facts about shirts and ink dye and whatever materials they use and the Silk Road and everything, like, I'm going to slowly glean out, even just like that example right there, the information that I don't fully understand or fully need to get my point across. And then those become the true facts that we have. So are we ever really getting the full picture? I don't know, man. Sounds like something I might want to put on a freaking Sublime album too and get in the back of a van and toke up some Yerba Buena with Aaron about, you know, in Santa Barbara while having some freaking dank freaking Freebirds. Good freaking call out to a dank breakfast burrito and SB Freebirds. Let's do one more, dude. Strider, dude. My dog gets fat red rockets when my GF pets him in the morning. What is going on? Does my dog have an edible complex? Is this an issue? I don't think my dog and GF will hook up, obviously, but does he love her more than me, or is he just horny? Is there a difference between love and horny? Landon. I mean, there's definitely a difference between love and horny. There's no question about that. I mean, horniness is definitely a part of love. Don't get me wrong. I love feeling horny. When I'm feeling any emotion, it's that plus horny. If I'm sad, I am sad plus horny. If I'm gambling, I'm amped up that my parlay might hit and I'm horny. You know, CEOs, they're power hungry, they're horny. Horniness, I believe, is the allspark of every civilization. I think it's what brings people together. I think, you know, like our boy Yuval Noah Harari talks about, you know, believing in imagined realities and, you know, being able to buy into religion and everything, not saying that God isn't real or not real, very well could be. You know, Pascal's wager behooves you to believe. And I'm saying, like, it's man's ability. Like, Yuval uses a great example of, like, a monkey's not going to give you a banana if you promise that monkey 10 bananas in the afterlife, but a human will. Like, that's the difference. But I think horniness is tangible and very real. And so if you go, dude, if we all build this building together and we create a fat utopia and we set out a nice picnic, dude, and we all treat each other right and create some good rules, ladies are going to like it. Dudes are going to like it, and we're going to have some fat orgies. What do you guys say to that? I think that's the essence of Native Californians. We got good resources. Guys, let's share this stuff together. We're in a freaking good situation right now. Even today, let it transcend. Guys, we got Amazon.com. I can drone a freaking whatever I need them. I can drone fresh grapes, snacks, and charcuterie for our orgy to our orgy right now in 25 minutes. let's do this right. Let's be nice. Let's not get selfish. It's when we get selfish and horny. That's when problems come in. But dude, I don't think your dog loves your GF more than you. I mean, maybe he's just got morning wood. I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, potentially. I'm trying to think of my dog, and he doesn't really, that red rocket doesn't really come out much anymore. Maybe that's age.
Could be age.
He used to kind of all the time, but now, I mean, he's been fixed the entire time we've had him, but.
Would you get him some Viagra?
No.
No.
I do worry about whether my dog's a virgin or not. Is that weird?
That is interesting. Dude, that's an interesting thing to think about. Most dogs are always virgins.
But he was he was out in the streets for 6 years, so like.
So was Sonny.
So like.
He could have stuck his dong in a squirrel for all we know.
For all we know. There could be squirrel Sonny hybrids out there.
And Sonny does, dude. He likes tracing squirrels, man. And I thought about it. I'm like, he's not that much bigger than a squirrel. I'm like, what is he going to do? I'm like, the squirrel will probably beat him in a fight. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's horny. Maybe he's trying to hump.
But yeah.
He tried to hump me for the first time the other night. Did you know that?
Oh, boy.
That's interesting. I'm like.
It's weird.
That mean he was trying to dominate me, or he thinks he's the alpha? I just told him to sit. I was like, sit. And then he listened, and then he stopped.
We, at the beginning of the pandemic, during the lockdown, a stray dog showed up at my house. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast.
We did. Yeah, you mentioned this briefly. But,
yeah.
Right.
Giant 100-pound pit bull Staffordshire mix or whatever.
Intimidating, yeah.
Giant. Tried to hump me while I was sitting on the floor. And that was like a UFC fight. Dude. I had to really wrestle my way out of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing. I think he was trying to see who's the alpha of that scenario, and I think you obviously won.
Yeah. Thankfully. I mean, I wasn't even going 100%, but it was like, I'm about to have to go 100% on this dog.
That's a 100-pound dog. They're strong, dude. Yeah. And the dog's got ground game, dude. Dogs are from like 949, basically. Yeah. You know, they're not 909ers, dude. Dude, that's gnarly. Well, I'm glad you won. I'm glad that you're the alpha of your household. It's interesting.
I see that dog every now and again. I'm like...
Yeah, you guys lock eyes. You just give each other a knowing nod.
Yeah.
You just see him smoking a cigarette on the street, dude. Just controlling his block. I like to think of that dog's backstory. Just goes around humping people in the freaking pandemic, just taking over one house at a time via his humps. Well, dude... That's a little history of the ancient California here, better understanding of my home state, better understanding of the NorCal SoCal Beef. Still unsolved, still want to get to it, but I think, we've taken a step in the right direction. Dude, fired up for everything. Please write in with some dank questions. Email me, StriderWilsonShreds@gmail.com. Anything, it's relation, history, or just anything that's on your mind. We like to know. Aaron and I like to cut it up and flesh it out. All right, dudes. Freaking stay stoked. And thank you, Jacob Lapinsky, for the freaking dank research. Dude's a freaking beast, dude. All right,